WTMA.
Now, here's more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA. I'm your host, Brian Beatty, and thanks again for tuning in as we continue our discussion about real estate. I want to talk about investors, but first I just want to thank those of you that listen to this program on a consistent basis. It's kind of funny. I was talking to somebody earlier in the week that had their home on the market for over 3 years with 3 separate agents. Each had it for about a year. It has remained unsold. And we were talking about my program, and I told her that, you should listen this weekend because I'm going to say a few things that are relevant to your situation. And she's like, yeah, right. Another sales pitch. That's the last thing I need. I'm going to throw up if I hear one more realtor say they can help me. And so anyways, I couldn't quite get through to her, and that just happens sometimes. We'd love to help her out, but she's probably just sick of it. She's probably sick of real estate agents, sick of the process. Nobody can help her. She's got a bad taste in her mouth because she hasn't found the right agent yet, and she's been trying for 3 years and it just hasn't worked out. So I, to an extent, I don't blame her. Having said that, I do believe that those people that listen to this program on a consistent basis are more educated about the real estate market. That is the vision that I have for this program, is for the folks that listen to it to know more about the real estate market and the real estate process than the other person that is buying their home or that they are selling a home. Both sides of the table have some element of real estate experience. Anything from a first-time home buyer or first-time home seller to somebody that's done this 10 times, 20 times. And then you have the agent on other side of the table, and their experience varies greatly. We've done 1,000 transactions in the Charleston market. When we go against the new agent, it's not fair. We, of course, are friendly, but we're not here to do their job for them. Sometimes we end up having to so that things remain contractually compliant, and, that agent or that other person doesn't get in such a tight spot that the deal actually suffers as a result of it. But this is the whole reason why I'm telling you this is because I truly believe this program is the best resource of information for real estate in Charleston, South Carolina. My goal is for that to be one of the top shows listened to on iTunes and Google Play and so on and so forth. And we're in the process of putting this show on those different mediums. But I appreciate it because I can't do this without your support. So thank you very much is really what I wanted to say. Thank you for listening to this program and for calling me and reaching out to me and offering me the opportunity to help you. So if I can do that, my number is 843-345-1273. Again, that's 843-345-1273. And of course, my website, listingsincharleston.com, listingsincharleston.com. So let me talk to investors for a little while here because as I was mentioning last segment, it's something that I frankly built my business off of. And I come from a real estate family that built their wealth through real estate investment. So I understand it. I've put my own money where my mouth is. I have made money. I've never lost money on a real estate investment. Now, of course, I'm going to knock on wood, never say never. I'm sure it'll happen at some point, but I'm very careful with my money, and you should be too. And so this is why I want to have this discussion this morning, because I'm still getting a lot of calls from people that, hey, Brian, can you look out for a real estate investment for me? And so, of course, I have naturally a few questions that I ask them to determine how experienced they are. Is it worth my time to start looking at investment properties for them? Because do they know what a good investment is or not? And so the first thing that I want you guys to understand, I'm going to give you 3 tips this morning. The first one is to know your target. Most people are professional lookers. They are not investors. And here's what I mean by that. So let's say that you're thinking about getting into the market as an investor. So beginners, one of the pieces of advice you may hear or read about is to start looking at a bunch of deals to educate yourself. Just start looking at a bunch of investment properties. Run the analysis. And to the extent that's true, you can learn a lot by analyzing investment deals. But if you've got cash and you're looking around and hoping that the right deal is going to present itself, the question is, what is the right deal for you? I can tell you that the vast majority, probably 8 out of 10 people that call me and talk to me about real estate investments and label themselves as an investor, the vast majority of them cannot define the characteristics of a deal that would cause them to say, yes, I will buy that, and no, that's not a good enough deal for me because this particular investment doesn't meet or exceed my return on investment standards. The other major challenge is this. If you don't know what separates a good deal from a great deal based on realistic market dynamics, by the time you figure out something is a great deal and you run your analysis, guess what? That deal is gone. There are too many other professional investors in this market to sleep on a great deal. So as an investor, that's actually what you want, if you really think about it, the deal that other investors are fighting over, because that's your reassurance that the deals you're selecting are good deals. The challenge is to move as quickly on an uncontested deal as you would on a deal that already has 5 offers from other investors. So that's tip number 1 is to know what you're looking for. If you don't know what a good deal is, it's really hard to find it. The second thing I want to say to you is to not think too small. Most people start off with, little $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 houses as a way of mitigating their risk. And I know plenty of people that have made it. They have made it over the hump, and now they are a bona fide real estate investor with a portfolio that exceeds $1 million in cash, in equity that they have built from very small properties. And here's the issue with that, is that most of the time, and I'm just speaking in generalities, and I'm also speaking from experience, tenants tend to trash the place on these really inexpensive properties, and it costs you $3,000 each time to fix it up. So I want you to think about this. If you have a $60,000 property and it costs $3,000 to fix it up, that's 5% of the home's total value. If the value of your home went up 5% last year, and then you just spent all of your appreciation on repairs because you can't get any money out of the tenant because they don't have any, then you haven't made any money. You've made your rent, but you haven't made any appreciation because the maintenance is so darn high. The point is, repairs, construction materials, major systems in a home, they're expensive. But they're a lot more expensive in homes that are worth less money, which is why it makes sense to invest in a more expensive home rather than a few homes worth the same amount of money. Do you want one roof to worry about, or do you want 3? You want one HVAC system to worry about, or do you want 3? One center renters or 3? You see my point. A lot of these less expensive homes in this market, they're not worth it. In my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. Not unless, you see them for such a good price that you can do a little bit of work, maybe add an addition, fix it up, and flip it for a quick buck. But for the folks that buy it and rent it out, I think that the trouble that you incur with those really inexpensive properties is just not worth it, because you also have to place a value on your time. And if you have a full-time job and you're going to start investing in real estate, which is cool and commendable, and I love that, and I love helping people do that, the question you have to ask yourself, if you're going to go and buy a $30,000 property and put $10,000 into it, and you have a $40,000 investment that still needs work, and it still has a bunch of stuff wrong with it, and you want to take on the property management yourself, what's going to happen when that toilet overflows and the tenant doesn't know what they're doing and it's 9 o'clock at night? Or let's say you've got young kids and you want to get into the investment game, and things come up and you don't have enough money set aside to handle the maintenance on your investment. There's so many factors that you have to look at that it truly takes a very specific and frankly lengthy conversation between an experienced agent, truly experienced agent, and somebody that wants to get into the investment market to uncover these issues, to look at all of the things that could potentially go wrong so that we can factor that into our decision-making process and select the right investment. Because here's the deal. This is incredibly important for you to understand. Once you spend your money on that house, that money is gone. So you want to invest your money into the best deals possible. If you go and buy a bunch of properties that are just okay and you're buying and holding them, the only other way to get that money back is to sell the property or refinance. And now you're robbing one property that should stand alone as an investment that you keep forever to go and buy another. And that's how you get into trouble. And that brings me to a third point really quickly here, which is that, you don't need to buy a place for cash. You don't actually need any cash at all, quite frankly. I offer hard money lending, and I have folks that come to me and say, here's an investment opportunity. We talk about it. We agree upon funding for this project. And I'm not going to tell you the splits that I have with these investors, but you look at all these shows on TV, you think they're using all their own money? Heck no. They're using other people's money. And the performance of that flip is dependent upon how much money they make. Now, normally they'll pay for the materials, or they'll be the person that remodels it, or they'll manage that process. There's a bunch of different ways you can skin that cat. But there are also a bunch of different ways that you as an investor can fund a project without any money of your own. And if that's something you're interested in, I'll tell you what, I have a free ebook called The Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Real Estate Investing. It's 53 pages. It's packed full of awesome information. Everything from choosing your specific target markets and your strategies, your business plan, how to find deals, how to finance deals, how to market them. And then the biggest piece of the puzzle that most people forget about, your exit strategy. Begin with the end in mind is one of my favorite sayings. It's something I adhere to on a daily basis, except for when I'm on vacation, because I don't want to think about everything I have to do when I get back from vacation before I've even sat down on the beach with my fancy umbrella drink. But if you'd like a copy of that book, The Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Real Estate Investing, text guide to 843-345-1273. Again, text guide to 843-345-1273, and I will reply. I will ask you for your email address, and I will send it right over. So again, text guide to 843-345-1273 for a free copy of The Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Real Estate Investing. And of course, if you want to reach out to me, that's my cell phone number, 843-345-1273. If you're thinking about investing, let's have a conversation about it. I can find you the deal. We just need to make sure we know what we're looking for. And when we find it, we react quickly and intelligently in an informed way. So again, 843-345-1273. Text guide to that number for the free guide. And call me if you have any questions, or of course, visit listingsincharleston.com. And when we come back, we're going to follow up from this kind of ongoing segment we've had about what causes a listing not to sell and what you can do differently if you're one of those sellers that just feels like it might not happen for me. I've missed the boat. That might not be true. Let's ask some very important questions and understand a few things in a very informed way. So stick around. This is the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
Hear the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show every Saturday morning at 9 and each Sunday morning at 10 on 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.